Eternatus in Pokemon Go. What do we do with it? Do we raid for it? How do we take it down? I'm going to give you everything you guys need to know about this Eternatus in Pokemon Go, so you know if it's worth going after, what should your plan be throughout the weekend, and do you actually power this thing up in Pokemon Go? Where does it sit as the attacker that it's said to be one of the strongest in the game? Let's find out exactly what that means in this video. So welcome to the Trader Club. Here we go. Eternatus is going to be coming into the game this weekend if you didn't already get it from the previous event at the World Championship event last week. If you want to see me get that Pokemon, you can get it up here. Just as a reminder, the 100% IV coming from this Pokemon is going to be $18.98. Also, some people are like, what about the weather boost on the infographics that you guys put out? If you guys did not get those, you definitely want to jump in the Discord, discord.gg/thetrainerclub, and go into the infographics section. We have tons of resources in the Discord for you guys. We even have the ability to get on my friends list through Patreon. You guys can also get into remote raid rooms for $8 a month, super cheap and easy to get into and to raid with other people. I have a custom designed bot to make it super easy to invite people, and furthermore, there's also free raids in the Discord, so if you guys want some more players, you guys can do that there too. But there is no weather boost conditions that come from these specific Pokemon. There is no weather boost on any Gigantamax or Dynamax Pokemon. You're catching it at level 20. Just a heads up. Maybe in the future they'll change that, but as of right now, this is where it's at. So let's talk about the Eternatus, then we'll talk about some of the counters, then we'll talk about where does this Pokemon sit as far as its strengths and weaknesses and in the Master League as well. So this Pokemon is a dragon, and it is a poison type Pokemon. We will not be able to Eternamax this Eternatus. It will only be able to stay in the Eternatus form, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be insanely strong. Just as remember, Zacian and Zamazenta do not go into Dynamax or Gigantamax forms. They stay as their forms, but their moves allow you to be able to use this Pokemon. This Pokemon is going to max out at 5,007, so it is an extremely strong Pokemon. It is not as high as the Zacian. There are a couple Pokemon that are going to be above it. However, that doesn't mean we should discount it either. It is going to have an attack value of 278, a defense of 192, and a stamina of 268. And as far as its typings go, it's going to be weak to Dragon, Ground, Ice, and Psychic, and it will resist Bug, Electric, Fighting, Fire, Poison, and Water. And then it's going to have a double resistance on the Grass category. So this Pokemon does have a decent amount of resistances that is going to serve us for sure when we're playing with this. As far as its moves, it's going to get Poison Jab and Dragon Tail. Dragon Tail is the premier raid attacker move for Dragon Pokemon, which is great news for us here. As far as the charge moves, it's going to have Flamethrower, it's going to have Dragon Pulse, it's going to have Sludge Bomb, and then finally the legacy move of Dynamax Cannon, which is a dragon move. And this move is insanely strong. Combined with these stats on this Pokemon, make it one of a kind. However, do not ever TM away this move. Dragon Pulse is a horrendous attacking move. This move is not great. It does not do well. It is extremely unfortunate of a move, to be honest with you guys. However, Flamethrower, decent fire move, not the best, and then Sludge Bomb, a pretty good poison move, okay? So this Pokemon looks pretty good for the Dragon category, and we'll see what the best moves on this Pokemon are. So now, let's jump into how to beat this Pokemon because I didn't completely cover it in detail for you guys here. So for this Pokemon, number one, we already saw what the counters are as far as its weaknesses go, which will be Ice, Dragon, Psychic, as well as Ground. So we're going to have to consider these Pokemon and also consider that we don't have a ton of these Pokemon that are extremely good yet. The Gigantamax system is not full swinged out, so we don't have all the Pokemon in front of us ready to go. So that doesn't mean we can't take on this Pokemon. So the best recommended team according to Pokemon Go Hub will include Zamazenta for its tankiness with the moveset of Metal Claw as its fast move. Then for the tank, we're gonna have the Blissey in there with Pound. And then finally, a recommended counter to save, but use as an attacker, is no other than the Eternatus. However, most of us might not have this, and we probably don't have it powered up yet. So the number 2 attacker is going to be the Latios. However, if you guys do plan to max out this Eternatus like I do, you guys don't even have to go after this Pokemon. You guys can just start using this and power it up as you battle with it and start making it go up if you don't have a good Latios, because once you have this Pokemon powered up, it's gonna be way better than Latios anyway. So it's like, I don't really suggest you guys start doing this. If we have other attackers on here, you guys can use it. But if you did max max out a Latios, the great moves are going to be the Dragon Breath, which will put it into the Dynamax Dragon move, and then it will also be Zen Headbutt, which will serve both of these Pokemon because it is going to be weak to both Dragon and Psychic. The third Pokemon is going to be the Zen Headbutt on the Metagross, which is going to be what I'm using because I did get a 100% IV and I did max it out, which will have max Mindstorm. And then either the Mud Slap or the Mud Shot on the Excadrill, which I already have maxed out too. And then the Hatterene and the Latias. And I will not be suggesting the Hatterene and probably not suggesting Latias unless you got the hundo, you already maxed it out. It's a little bit more tanky as it is opposed to being an attacker, so the other two are going to be best served. But the strategy is always to have the Zamazenta, Blissey. Both of those work great for absorbing attacks. Switch back and forth between them. And then you have the attacker that's going to sit there on the third space. What you're going to do is you're going to sit there with this Pokemon and not go forward with it until the Dynamax or Max situation happens. Then you switch over into the Dragon, Psychic, or whatever Pokemon you're using in this situation as the attacker that we just mentioned. Once you do the 3 attacks, you then switch out of it, so you keep it as your reserve and then take all the hits with the Zamazenta as well as the Blissey. So there is how you attack against this Pokemon. Now let's change over into what are we going to do with this Pokemon as far as its power goes? Where does it sit overall in Pokemon Go? And then let's check it out as well. So this Pokemon, let's see what it faces against itself and what its best movesets are. The best moveset combination is going to be the Eternatus, obviously, with the Poison Jab and Dynamax Cannon at 73.92. Then it's going to go into the Dragon Tail and Dynamax Cannon at 72.75. Next, we're going to have the Dragon Tail and Dragon Pulse at 59.46. And then we're going to have other moves on this. It says Hyper Beam, but that is not an option for us. So now let's switch over into the Dragon category and see what is going to be the best Pokemon here. So at the #1 spot with just Dragon charge moves, we have the Eternatus with Poison Jab and Dynamax Cannon at 73.92. And remember that this Pokemon also got the double Dragon move at around low 72. So that is going to be above the Mega Rayquaza with Dragon Tail and Breaking Swipe at 69.13. Then we have the Mega Garchomp in spot #3 at 60.36. Followed by the Eternamax, which we can't have, so we're gonna go ahead and skip over that one. Then we're gonna get the Dialga Origin Form with Metal Claw and Roar Time at 57.27, Mega Salamence at 57.26, and down the list we go. So this Pokemon is stronger than the Rayquaza with the all Dragon moves, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And then moving into the Poison category, while the Game Press website is not allowing me to update the moves of this Pokemon, it does also get Sludge Bomb, and Sludge Bomb is an extremely strong move, and it's definitely going to be one of the top, if not the top, poison type attackers as well. And finally, let's look at this Pokemon's overall ranking in Pokemon Go. So the #1 attacker in the game is going to be Mega Rayquaza with Dragon Tail and Dragon Ascent, which is the flying move of 80.83, followed by Eternatus with Poison Jab, Dynamax Cannon at 73.92. Then we have the Regigigas in the Shadow form with the Crush Grip at 71.13, followed by the Mega Mewtwo Y, which is not out yet. Then the Crown Sword Zacian at 69.75, the Crown Sword Zamazenta at 79.71, the Dawnwing Necrozma with the Moongeist Beam at 69.14, the Duskmane Necroza at 69.14, the Mega Mewtwo X, the Black Kyurem at 66.3, and down the list with the Mega Lucario at 64.92, the Shadow Mewtwo at 63.56, the Primal Kyogre and the Primal Groudon, Mega Salamence, and so far down. So guys, this move and this Pokemon is an incredible combination. It is worth your time rating for this Pokemon. It is going to be extremely strong. I will be maxing mine out in my video if you guys don't plan to, but the one downside is that yes, it is expensive. So while I did say it is the best attacker in the game from the Dragon category, the other thing you have to consider is that we're not looking at being able to have multiple of these. This is not a budget counter. This is a premium, top of the line, the most paid for Pokemon that you will have to encounter in the game. And then if you don't get a good one, you will have to use a golden bottle cap on it as well if you want to have the best version of it. So that is what I plan to do in Pokemon Go. However, there is a shiny form of this. It was not released generally. I believe it was a cold only for the main series game, so I don't know if they will ever release this Pokemon into Pokemon Go, but that is also an option for you guys in the future. Would you have 2 of these Pokemon if the shiny is released and do that, or would you consider just waiting until the shiny comes out, using a golden bottle cap on something else, and then again using the golden bottle cap on the shiny, but we don't know at what point this will be out. This is the first time this Pokemon's ever made it into the game, so I'm thinking at least a year and a half before we would even consider seeing that shiny, or at least at a base minimum 1 year next year for the 30th anniversary. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but that is just something that I'm considering here, because they are going to be doing the 30th anniversary for Pokemon and the 10th anniversary for Pokemon Go. So it's going to be an insane event that you don't want to miss out on. And let's finally check it out in the Master League. The number 1 spot is the Crown Sword Zamazenta with the Ice Fang, Crown Sword Zacian in number 2 with the Metal Claw. Then we have Palkia Origin Form, Solgaleo, Dawnwing Necrozma, Kyurem in the black form, Lunala in spot number 7, and in spot number 8 we have the Eternatus with Dragon Tail, Dynamax Cannon, and Flamethrower. Then we have the Palkia in the shadow form, regular, the Urshifu Single Strike, spot number 10, the 11, which is going to be Palkia, and 12 is going to be the Landorus Therian form, and 13 will be the complete form of Zygarde. So number 8 in the Master League, number 1 for Dragon Attacker, number 2 for the best attacker overall in the game. This Pokemon is an absolute W, and if you are something that hunts for the top of the top Pokemon in the game, this Pokemon is worth it for you guys to power up. If you're a pay-to-play player, you're looking for the XP, you're looking for the Stardust, you're ready to accomplish all that, I love that for you guys. However, guys, remember, if you want budget counters that are going to work pretty well, that are going to do almost as much as this Pokemon, you can just pass over this hype, pass over the expenditures that you're going to have to complete to be able to get this and go forward. But I want to make sure you guys have all the information to make your decisions as well. I hope to see you guys in the Patreon, on my friends list, rating in the Discord for free, whatever that situation is. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. To all of my likers, commenters, subscribers, Patreon members, everybody takes your support, subscription to the page to 2X level. I'm going to see you guys out on the next video. Peace.